Welcome to this week fundamental update. As you all know it, in this channel I drop fundamental updates every single week, and I'll be helping you to increase your profitability in the market. You just have to stay tuned. Also, I'll be explaining what happened in the previous week and how buyers changed and how the news affected the forex market. So let's go straight into it. First of all, I want you to understand that last week a lot of news changed the market. Buyers were predicting a sell on dollar, but dollar actually went positive. That's because we cannot actually determine what the news effect will be like. We can only determine the rumor, and based on rumor we made profit in the academy as well. I'll go straight into that once we start analyzing the chart, but for now let us actually look at the news event and how it played out. So on the 27th of October, on Monday, which was last week, the Trump and the China president, they reached an agreement based on the tariff announcement. So that means the tariff has come to an end for the meantime. There's no need to be scared of the tariff announcement and all. This brought positivity to the market, and this made gold to sell. Now, I remember telling you all once that gold is not something that would always keep buying. It's not a commodity that would always keep buying. Gold only buys during times of uncertainty, during times of risk off. And now that the risks off have come to an end, now that the uncertainty have come to an end, gold sold massively. Do you understand? So not only that, on Australian, which is the AUD, we had a meeting. That the RBA had a meeting, and in that meeting the governor said that he don't see any reason for another rate cut. I told you all that we are expecting a rate cut on AUD, and this was supposed to make AUD weak, but he said he doesn't see any reason for another rate cut in the meeting. You understand? Now this led to a strong AUD. Not only that, also the tariff, meeting led to a positive AUD as well, because AUD is correlated to China. And since China is seeing positivity due to the fact that, oh, the tariff have come to an end, they have reached an agreement, AUD became strong. And that was what led to the massive sale on GBP AUD last week. Do you understand? So this was this was also backed up by the CPI news release on AUD, which came out positive. Inflation rates looking good, and investors are actually putting their money on AUD because now they are no more expecting a rate cut, but rather positivity is that, oh, the market might actually be booming on the Australian sectors, and we might be seeing more of a bullish ride on AUD. That was what happened last week. Now let's look at the chart and see how this played out, right? Let's look at the chart and see how this played out. So first of all, this is the dollar index. This is what I want you to understand. This is how the dollar looked like. But for now, let us go to the AXY, which is the Australian currency, and this is what it looks like. It's actually reacting at this zone. But if we look at the GBP AUD, we can see that the GBP AUD sold massively last week. Now this sell was due to the fact that, oh, the tariff announcement has come to an end. The tariff uncertainty, has come to an end, and this left room for positivity on the AUD currency, and the GBP itself was now weak. So GBP AUD sold massively. Not only that, the CPI rates came out positive. This means AUD is strong, and AUD is the quoted currency, and that was why we saw a massive sell-off on this GBP AUD. I use GBP AUD because GBP AUD is one of the currency I watch the most. If you're looking at other AUD currency, you know how to put this. If AUD is in front, it means the currency will be bullish. If AUD at the back, it means the currency will be bearish. So that is simply how it played out, and that was why we saw this massive sell-off in the market. Most of my students were looking for a buy opportunity here, but I gave them a warning at hand, and I told them no, that they shouldn't be buying this currency. Rather, they should just allow it to keep dumping. That is one of the advantage you get if you're a student of mine. I'll give you a warning ahead because I can see the fundamental news data, and I can see when a currency would actually keep selling drastically or keep buying drastically. So that was one of the news events that played out. On the Canadian dollar, on the card, because we are also looking at card is also another news event that I told you all that, oh, based on card, the rate policy is going to come out high. You understand? Or no, there was actually a rate cut, right? Yes, there was a rate cut, which means that card was supposed to be weak. Do you understand? CAD was supposed to be weak due to the fact that they are going to be having a 25% rate cut on Canada. But I don't usually look at CAD currency. I don't trade any CAD currency based on this. But for those who are trading CAD, something like USD CAD, you will see a massive pump on USD CAD. All those card pairs, you see that, oh, they were actually weak. You understand? For last week. Now, mainly, which was the US dollar, that was the currency pair we were looking at last week. I told you that USD was going to be weak, but it came out USD was bullish. Now, why was it bullish? My news expectation was right. Yes, USD rate cut actually came out, but after the rate cut meeting, you can see that after the rate cut, they also had an FOMC statement meeting. Now, in this FOMC statement meeting, the governor said that he don't see any reason for another rate cut this year on dollar. Now, this led to a bullish dollar. Why? Because rate cut means that dollar is going to be weak. If they keep seeing rate cut this year, it means that dollar is going to be weak. But after that previous rate cut, after the warning which we had last week, the governor said that, oh, he don't see any reason for a rate cut. The Fed said they don't see any reason for another rate cut, and this led to a bullish momentum in dollar. You can see the market was looking like a downtrend, and all of a sudden from this key level it reacted and we saw a bullish rise in the DXY. You understand? Did I make profit from this? I didn't make profit from the bullish rise, but I made profit from the dollar expectation, from the rate cut expectation, which was on, Euro USD. I sent the signal out to my VIP signal members. We made profit from this, and luckily we took profit before the news event played out, because in fundamentals, I keep saying this, we buy the rumor and we sell the fact. So once the news is about to be released, we have already made profit even before the news. Why? Because we are trading based on investors' rumor. And this was where I entered the market. This was my IFO entry, right? And this was where I took profit before the whole news event came out and changed the whole bias and made Euro USD bearish. Now, also, let's look at the JPY. I want you to understand that the Japanese yen, well, they were looking at a reason to, keep policy at a stable rate. You understand? So the rate cuts, the BOJ, they decided that, oh, they don't see any reason for another rate hike, because in Japanese yen we are expecting a rate hike. Inflation is rising, economy is doing too fine, but it's getting overheated. So they want to actually hike interest rate, and this is supposed to make Japanese yen bullish. It's supposed to make Japanese yen strong, but due to the new prime minister on seat, you understand, she announced that she don't see any reason for a rate hike now. The economy is still stable, and they would keep on implementing a fiscal policy in the market. You understand? And this made the Japanese yen a little bit weak. We can see that in the chart. We can see that in most of the Japanese yen currency pairs. Let's look at Japanese yen. You can see in the JXY, Japanese yen is selling drastically. Why? Because of the new prime minister is against the rate hike. If there was a rate hike, we would have seen a bullish JXY, but due to the fact that, oh, they are not any positivity in the markets, there's no sign of they are going to increase interest rates, investors are removing their money from the Japanese yen, and this is making the particular currency JXY weak. And we can see a little bit of upward movement on USD JPY. You can see upward movement on USD JPY, on CAD JPY. All these particular currencies that have JPY at its quoted currency is buying. All these currency pairs that have JPY as its quoted currency is buying. Do you understand why? Because JPY is weak. Now I'll be giving you all the analysis, my prediction for next week. But for now, let us just look at what happened last week. You can see this is why the USD JPY was buying massively. Even after the rate decision, they kept rate at a stable, and even during the meeting, they say they don't see any reason for a rate hike for now. Do you understand? So that was simply what happened. CAD JPY also buying drastically, and all AUD JPY also buying drastically. You can see I'm already setting up positions for this trade, and I will show you all those positions as we move on with this chart analysis. So that will be it for what happened last week. What else happened last week? We can look at gold. Gold sold drastically, and I know a lot of buyers were taken out when when it comes to gold, because a lot of people are just buying gold without having any fundamental knowledge, just buying it, feeling like gold will keep buying. Gold might actually keep buying, but for now we can see the drastic sell-off. Why? Because we are in a risk-on environment. A risk-on environment is when there is no uncertainty, when there is no bad event happening in the economy. So that is just simply it. So what is our bias for this coming week, right? What is our bias for this coming week? Well, we can look at the news events for this coming week. Is actually going to be a very, very volatile one. A lot of news events. First of all, the government shutdown is still holding on. Remember when I told you all that the government shutdown is when they are not paying people who are working in the government sector, and this is making them go on strike in some certain areas, and one of them is on this news release, right? We usually have NFP news release, but they did not release NFP for last month, and currently it's looking like they might not even release NFP for this month. Why? Because we are seeing tentative. Tentative just simply means that the events can be changed, it can be delayed, you understand, or it can even be cancelled. So that is what this word tentative means. Whenever you see tentative on any news event, it just simply means it can be cancelled. Do you understand? So that is just simply what it is. But for Monday, we are going to be having bank holiday, which is on the JPY. So the JPY pairs might be, the volatility might be a little bit weak. We are also seeing CPI news release on CHF, which is a very, very important one. The USD is going to be having ISM manufacturing PMI. So if this should come out green, it means that, this will give more room for a, positive move on dollar. Do you understand? If it comes out green. Now, I cannot predict, what the actual, data would be. Even the investors cannot predict that. But I can tell you for a fact that you can use the news release after this news is being released, the ISM manufacturing PMI. It just simply gives you a gauge to where the currency is heading to. So be on the lookout for what this news event will come out as. If it comes out positive, if they come out green, it means that dollar is actually positive and it will keep on buying. Now, if it come out red, it doesn't mean that dollar would sell. You need more gauge to understand if dollar would actually keep selling. But for now, the Fed have already seen they don't see any reason for another rate cut, which has already pushed the dollar in the positive side. So if this news now should come out green, it's going to give more room for a positive dollar. Now for the card, well, they are going to be having meeting. I don't think this is really, really important, but for those who are trading card, they should just be careful in case there's a surprise in the meeting, right? There's a surprise in the meeting. So for the AUD, we have the RBA monetary policy statement. You can see. So this is going to also decide if we are going to be seeing a, rate cut, or maybe a steady implementation on the RBA rate decision. My take is that this data is actually going to come out neutral. Why? Because last week they already said they don't see another, they don't see any reason for another rate cut. So if this comes out neutral, what does it mean? It means that AUD JPY will be bullish, GBP AUD will keep on selling drastically, because AUD pairs would now be, or the AUD currency would now be strong. You understand? AUD pairs will be focused on AUD. Do you understand? So that is just what it simply means. So on this statement as well, if maybe on Tuesday the statement still comes out positive, AUD will keep on buying drastically. So just stay active in my Telegram channel. I'll be dropping an update for the news once it's been released. For those who don't have my Telegram handle, you can just go to my description, make sure to follow, and also make sure to join the groups. Contact me on WhatsApp, so I'll also add you up and you'll be viewing my status, because I drop important knowledge every single week. I post it for those who are following me up. I post it for my students. I make sure that they don't miss out on anything that is happening in the market. Fundamentally, it's good to always stay in check with the fundamentals, because trading with only technicals is outdated. Seriously, it's outdated. It's old school. Do you understand? So on Wednesday, another important news in which you can use to understand where dollar is heading is the ISM service PMI. So this one is also just like the ISM manufacturing PMI. So if these two should come out positive, if this one come out positive and this also should come out positive, it means that dollar is likely going to keep buying. You understand, for next week. So another important news is the GBP monetary policy report. We also have, I think we should also be having, so that should be it. card unemployment rates as well. All these news are very important, so that's why I said this week is going to be very, very volatile. We have to just be very careful. For Friday, which is the NFP, it might likely not play out. If the government shutdown continues, which I feel like it will, if it should continue, the NFP will be cancelled and it might be moved to next week, understand, or next month possibly. So let us go to chart analysis and see what I am looking at in the chart and see how you can use this to make profit. So in chart analysis, DXY, first of all, I want you all to understand that we are following what the news is currently saying, and based on the fact that the Fed have already said they don't see any reason for another rate cut, dollar is already looking bullish. So now if you're taking any trade, at least you should wait for a retracement in dollar, right? It's already going up. At least wait for a retracement to this zone. Once dollar should retrace back to this zone, we can now start seeing entries to the top. You understand? That is my prediction on dollar, because it has already broken this previous high, which makes this zone a buy zone. Breaking this previous high, this is a good break of market structure, and if the market should retrace, we should be seeing possibility of a good buy in this market. Now for the let us look at USD CHF. I don't think I see any good entry on USD CHF. Well, I don't think there's any good entry on USD CHF, but if you're trading this, right, let me clear all these charts and make it good. Let me remove all this and make it clear. So if you're trading USD CHF, first of all, I want you to just mark the key levels, understand where market is likely going to respect. If you can mark the key levels, you can understand, oh, this is where you'll be trading from. So the first key level in which the market respected was this one, right? So if market should retrace all the way back here, we can see there's another key level in which is looking like a good one. This zone looks like a good key level. If market should retrace all the way back down here, you can now start finding entry to go to the top side. You understand? That is what I am looking at on USD CHF. Aside that, I will not just go and buy drastically here because it's risky. You understand? It's risky. So based on AUD, I told you all that AUD is going to be strong. So let's look at GBP AUD and see if there's any good entry. Well, I work mostly with, first of all, in the 4 hours time frame or 1 day time frame, I draw my key levels. So if I'm drawing a key level on GBP AUD, this is where it will be. So if I'm taking any trade, at least I want to see a good retracement, maybe to this zone here, and then maybe I can now start looking for a sell. But I'm not saying market to retrace all the way there. I'm just saying if market should retrace here to this zone here, that's when I'll start looking for a sell on GBP AUD. Aside that, I might not really take a trade on GBP AUD. You understand? I always wait for confirmation. I don't just sell drastically when it gets to a zone. So for those who want to use this and now say, oh, once market gets there, they'll just set limits, that is very, very risky. I always wait for confirmation. Do you understand? So that is just simply it. For AUDJPY, let's look at my analysis on AUDJPY. I think I hosted a free class in my Telegram channel and I talked about this. Well, if market should get all the way back down here, because this is the buy zone, if market should get all the way back down here, maybe I can start finding entry. But for now, this is looking a bit like a price action pattern, like a price action pattern in which once the markets break, it might actually just keep buying. You understand? So if the market should break this before getting here, I might not really take the trade. I wouldn't chase any trade as well. For the GBP USD, for those who love trading GBP USD, this is my prediction. I gave it out in the Telegram channel. That doesn't mean I'll take this trade. I marked it green because this is not my setup. I work with one particular setup, and as a trader, I advise you to work with one particular setup. If you don't have a setup, it means that you're just trading randomly in the market, which is very, very risky. Do you understand? It's very risky. So that is simply it. Gold, I gave out a prediction on gold in our Telegram channel last week, and I said gold is at a key level. I wouldn't really say you should sell. I would say you should wait for a confirmation, because gold is a very, very risky commodity. So if there's any news release, it might just come and sweep liquidity at this zone before selling drastically. But anything that is happening, I want you all to understand that we are in a risk on environment, so gold will likely keep being bearish. If there's any data change, I'll let you all know. If any fundamental if any fundamental update is being released, I'll make dollar bullish. I'll let you all know. We make profit from it. I've made profit from my fundamental updates. Trust me. So if you're feeling like, oh, fundamental updates are not really necessary, then you're missing out on a lot, because I wouldn't have made profit on Euro USD buy last week if I did not understand the rumors. Do you understand? I wouldn't have made profit from USD CHF if I didn't understand the rumors. Sometimes you just have to follow the rumors. You don't even have to follow the actual news. Follow the rumors of the market. Where is the market heading to? Where are investors focusing on? And that is simply how you can make money from the chart. So that is simply it for this week. In case I'm missing out on anything, you can just let me know. In case you found this very helpful, you can just comment in the comment section, drop a comment section and say thank you, or say this is very helpful, so that I'll know that, oh, I am actually impacting on people's life and helping them to become profitable in the forex market. With that being said, I hope you understood this. I hope you enjoyed this section of the fundamental update. In case you have any questions, make sure to contact me on WhatsApp, or make sure to text me up on Telegram, or you can do any of that. You can get my handle in the YouTube description on my channel. Make sure to follow, make sure to like, and I will see you all the next weekend. Have a lovely trading week ahead.